Salutations gamers, it's your girl Empress XV, and today we're going to talk about the biggest mistakes players make in Guild Wars 2 structured PvP. Conquest mode, in my humble, completely unbiased, and absolutely correct opinion, is the best game mode in Guild Wars 2 due to its fluid combat system, low barrier to entry, and high skill ceiling. But after playing some 8,000 plus matches in this game, you do see some interesting moves in ranked gameplay. There are many ways to win a PvP match, and there are, of course, exceptions to everything, but there are also some general best practices that all players may not be aware of. Be warned, some of these might actually make a Sylvari choose violence over violets. But without further ado, let's take a look at the top 5 biggest mistakes players make in Guild Wars 2 ranked PvP. Starting us off at number 5, using unoptimized settings. That's right, my fellow Tyrians, the path to victory begins before you've even loaded into the battlefield. This may seem like a no-brainer or something that's not really going to give you that big of an advantage in PvP, but do not underestimate the power of giving yourself every possible advantage. One small checkmark can literally mean the difference between life and death, and multiple tiny tweaks can add up to make a significant impact. For my newer players out there, press F11 or the gear icon in the top to access these settings. I won't go into super detail on which settings you should run and why, but as a general rule of thumb, you should adjust for the following. Make sure to increase your field of view in order to maximize what you can see on the screen. This is particularly helpful for seeing enemies who are approaching from farther away, and it just helps with general map awareness as well. Down in the combat and movement section, change ground targeting to fast with range indicator. This allows you to cast your skills slightly faster. Make sure to uncheck double tap to evade, check stop auto attacking on target change, and uncheck auto targeting so that you can use your movement skills to get away from a difficult situation and reposition yourself. It is also helpful to turn on standard enemy models in PvP. This way you don't have to squint your eyes to see the animations from a tiny Asura player. It'll be tough getting used to these changes when you first make them, but I promise you it will improve your gameplay substantially in the long run. Next, be sure to go to the keybinds tab and make any necessary adjustments so that you can reach all of your buttons quickly, whether it's binding them to an MMO mouse or different keys on your keyboard. Everyone has a different preference here, so I'll leave the specifics to you, but a few notes. Be sure to keybind your special action key because both Jin's Dominion and Colosseum maps will make use of this. I would also highly recommend keybinding About Face as it offers a mechanical finesse that can elevate your gameplay to new heights. Moving on to the 4th biggest mistake in PvP, fighting on the point. But Empress, this is conquest mode. You're supposed to cap points? True, but there are other important considerations to keep in mind. Only one person needs to be standing on the point to prevent a decap or maintain a neutral node. Your whole team does not need to be standing on it and face tanking all the AoEs, especially against specs that have punishing area denial skills such as a Scourge's Breach. Before a match starts, take a look at the team compositions on both sides by pressing B. Are there any thieves who can decap? Any supports who can sustain a team fight? Any side noders? How mobile or slow are the two teams compared to each other? This is all valuable information that you can use to determine what is going to be the most optimal strategy for your team depending on the map. In every game, players have the option to play for points or play for kills. All matches are a combination of both to varying degrees, but certain compositions and maps can favor one over the other. It can sometimes be the superior strategy to fight off point and prioritize getting the kills. After all, that creates a solid mathematical advantage for your team on the map if the enemy is one player down. And this leads me to the 3rd biggest mistake in PvP. Not regrouping after a team wipe. As the old adage goes, there is strength in numbers, and one of the key ways to create an advantage is to ensure that your team always outnumbers your opponent on the map. You'll see teams stagger their kills and bleed players out without stomping them for this very purpose. A dead teammate is an unhelpful teammate for at least 20 seconds while they wait for respawn. But what happens if your team just got deleted? Do not run in one by one. Do not push a 1v3 by yourself, even if it's to prevent them from capping. Unless it's your win condition. You will die, and you will perpetuate the respawn stagger. Instead, take the time to regroup with your entire team. This could mean waiting in the base until people come off respawn and then push out together. View this as a soft reset in the match since everyone is now at full health with skills off cooldown. You significantly increase your chances of a comeback through this method. Now that we've got that covered, moving right along to the second biggest mistake I see in PvP. Running away from your support. For those of you who've watched my streams, you'll know that this is the singular action in PvP that routinely breaks my heart as a support main. If you're being pressured by a mobile high damage class such as a Thief or Hollow and cannot promptly get to a no port spot, hide behind line of sight, or yeet back inside your base, please do not use every single one of your ports and mobility skills to run away from your support player. In these situations, it is generally better to run towards your support who can help resustain you or revive you if you're down, and then you can run away if needed. The reasoning behind this is the most commonly played support specs in the current meta, namely Core Support Guardian and Scourge, are generally very slow and they typically will not be able to catch up to a fast DPS class. Considering how much I complain about players who run away from me on support when I stream, you'd think this would be the #1 mistake on the list, right? No! So this leads me to the final and biggest mistake that I see in ranked PvP time and time again. Not disengaging a fight before it's too late. Many players tend to blow their cooldowns in a fight and then try to get away when they have nothing else left. However, by then, it's usually too late. Keep a running tracker in your head of the skills you have left that can help you escape a bad situation, whether it's a leap or teleport towards your teammates, blocks to buy you time to get to a no-port spot, or even a stealth to reset your position or break combat. It is never worth dying in a fight if you can avoid it, unless it is your win condition or it enables your team to secure the map or another key mechanic. Don't believe me? Let's do some math. If an opponent kills you, you get to lay still and look pretty on the ground, unable to do anything for 20 seconds before you can respawn in your base. Not only does the enemy get 5 points from your death, but that is 20 seconds that you're leaving your teammates with one person down on the map. But wait, there's more. You also have to account for the time it takes to run to a point or a fight. Of course, this depends on which map you're on, as some are bigger than others, as well as which class you're playing and the mobility skills you have. So let's just ballpark this as a blanket 10 seconds to get where you need to go. So now we're at a total of 30 seconds. What can your enemy accomplish in half a minute? They can decap a node you own, cap a neutral node, kill Svanir or Chieftain on Forest of Niflhel, channel Tranquility and Stillness meditations on Temple of the Silent Storm, cap the Bell on Revenge of the Capricorn, capture the Cannon on Skyhammer, acquire the Sword and Shield buffs on Eternal Colosseum, and worst of all, they can wipe your teammates and snowball the match so hard that you can never recover. In short, your death can severely swing the match in the opposing team's favor. Another point to note here is the difference between resustaining and resetting. Let's say you're being pressured and low on cooldowns. If your support is able to help top up your HP, clear your conditions, give you blocks and such, they are resustaining you. This does not mean you should continue to stay in the fight if you still don't have the cooldowns. Your support bought you a few extra seconds and you should use that time to completely reset if necessary. A proper reset involves getting completely out of combat and waiting for your important skills, such as your heal and stun break, to come off cooldown so that you can more safely and effectively push in once more. So, what should you take away from this video? Mastering PvP takes time and everyone is guilty of making these mistakes. Even myself, even the pros. At the very least, I would encourage you to check your game settings and pick one other thing from this list to consciously try to work on in your games. And with that, let me know what you think about this video, guys. Any other major PvP no-nos that I've left out of this list? Sound off in the comments below. If you like this video, do smash that thumbs up button for me and subscribe for more videos like this. I also stream on Twitch at EmpressXV on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, starting at 8 p.m. Pacific Time. Hope to see you there. In the meantime, stay golden, and may the matches be ever in your favor.